Latrobe Speedway studio. Welcome to Ride Along Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway podcast. My goodness, we got another week off here. The weather's going to be nice, but we are all getting ready for Fall Fest 2023 at our beloved Latrobe Speedway coming up on Friday, October 6th and Saturday, October 7th. All of our drivers, they're in the garages, they're working, getting all ready for Fall Fest. And you know what? We thought we would take this week to bring in to the speed shop a true legend. And before I introduce everyone to our legend who's going to be joining us, we are on location here at the speed shop. We are parts unknown somewhere throughout Somerset County. We are at Skip's Hot Rods and Indian Motorcycle Speed Shop. And as we always like to say, you can't get there from here. But anyway, it's okay, because who did get here is our buddy from Cranberry, Pennsylvania, one of the all-time Western Pennsylvania greats, one of the all-time regional greats, one of the all-time national greats. And all I can say is, Lynn Geisler, how's things going in Cranberry, Pennsylvania tonight?
It's going super great. Having a conversation with you. It's been a while, but it's a sort of great night.
It absolutely is. It is such a great. I even cracked open the beer. I'm so excited to have you on this Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway Speed Shop. And you know, Lynn, I'll just give you some of our ground rules here at the Speed Shop. We just kind of let it flow. Nothing scripted. We have a good time, and it's just great to have you aboard. Listen, we could talk for hours about your storied racing history. Tell us a little bit. Let's begin by talking about how does that storied racing history, as the driver that will always be known as the top gun for number one Cochran Pontiac, number one Cochran Automotive, how does that all translate into Lynn Geisler's career, and how did that work out here at Latrobe Speedway or at Schmucker's back in the day?
Yeah, we did a little bit of racing at Schmucker's back in the day. I can go back that far. It wasn't a lot of racing there, but we did compete there, and it's certainly a tribute to have me on for this historic event with Dave Kittey's Memorial.
Very well said. The Dave Kittey Memorial on Friday night for the ULMS late models, the Rick Frazee Memorial for the crate late models on Saturday night. Let's get back into your history. You know what? You carried the number one Cochran Automotive flag for the Cochran family for years and years and years. Talk a little bit about how that all came about, because in this day and age, it's not often you see a driver that is associated with one specific sponsor for that type of a time span. I mean, you were with Cochran for so long, you guys became enmeshed. You were synonymous. If you were talking about Lynn Geisler, you were talking about number one Cochran Pontiac or number one Cochran Automotive. If you were over here talking about number one Cochran Pontiac, you knew you were also talking about Lynn Geisler. Talk about that relationship and how it all came about.
Well, it really was by accident. A good friend of mine actually went to the dealership and set up a meeting with Bob and myself, and it was sort of off the cuff, to be honest with you. And obviously, we must have pushed some of the right buttons, because he was willing to get on board for a year and see how it worked. And from there, it was really a great relationship. And I was really fortunate to have Jack Crowell as my mentor, so to speak, in that type of a sponsorship, because I had no idea what I was doing with it. And from there, we conjured up a friendship as well as a business relationship. And I like people to understand that we really didn't know anybody there, but we did conduct it as a business. And I think that's why it's existed as long as it has, because sure, the friendship came along, but initially it was a business relationship. Could we help them sell cars? And fortunately, we were able to do that, and it just continued. It's over 40 years now.
That was actually my next question. If you were to put a time span on it, it has been over 40 years. All I can say is wow. And I think at some point, certainly Cochran wants to move cars, win on Saturday and Sunday, sell on Monday. But I think your relationship, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the relationship and the connection with Lynn Geisler and Cochran, it became much bigger than that. It became almost like a public relations and marketing coup. The fact that you were able that you knew every night when you would put that car, every October when you would park that car, that car was going to be white. It was going to have blue and orange 1C on it come March or April. How about it?
Well, that's exactly right. But there never was a contract. There never was anything, just a handshake as I'm going to do a good job for you and you're going to do a good job for me. And when it worked out that way, it just continued. It's kind of funny that you would mention that, because we actually did a Christmas thing on the radio when it was, I can't remember now, WEDO, I believe, in McKeesport. And we did that so people would know that we were going to continue the next year. That's how crazy it was. But it certainly has been a great relationship. And, it was started with Bob. It went to Robbie. Jack was the main guy at the track. And now I have another guy that I'm gaining a friendship with, as well as the business relationship with Mike Resitano. So it really is a very fortunate situation.
Not sure if I lost you there, Lynn, but no, I heard Mike Resitano, and I heard about, and quite frankly, even over here in Somerset County, WE810 AM WEDO is a station that I still enjoy. They play oldies in the mornings. They're a country format right now, but they were very locally locked in with businesses and so on. So that is very cool. Hey, after this stellar career of yours, what do you do with yourself now? I know that you're very good friends with my buddy from Somerset, Mark Woy, in the hot rodding and classic car culture. It sounds like that is where your gearhead passion is kind of taken you following retirement from turning left on the dirt.
Yeah, it has. I always had an interest, I guess, a little subdued, but now that I have more time, and I'm fortunate to have Alex Faree as sort of my partner in this venture, where he's taking care of the labor work of it and really doing a nice job for myself to have some fun and for the dealership. Alex is just a great guy, and it's freed me up to do the things that I enjoy doing. And restoration work with my antique cars happens to be one of them.
Well, I know Tuesday night we all had the opportunity to kind of hobnob with the likes of Kyle Larson, and Dell Jr. was in the Lernerville pits on Tuesday. And now having you, having the opportunity to talk to someone like you of your stature and legendary stature, talk about some of your accomplishments in those 40 years, and I'm sure expanded beyond Cochran relationship. I had the opportunity to meet you at the Pittsburgh Circle Track Banquet a couple of years ago. I'm sure that there are many trophies, many victory lane and championship trophies there in Cranberry, isn't there?
Yeah, there was at one point. There's not quite so many anymore. I lost my space to store them, and actually, Don Gamble fenced them off to people that for charity. And when to be honest with you, when we hauled them out of the barn where I had them, it was 3 pickup truck loads. I mean, I had no idea that I had accumulated that many trophies. And my mother was in charge of taking care of them. She's the one that put them away so I would have them. But you never know when things start out how they're gonna progress. And it just an amazing accomplishment. But that was not to be taken lightly. It was a tribute to the dealership and the crew that worked on that car. I just happened to be the guy driving it.
It sounds like it was a team effort. And you talk about all them trophies, Lynn, and those championships. And I know there's going to be a lot to choose from when I ask you this, but if you could let our fans know here on the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway podcast, is there any particular victory? Is there any particular championship? Is there any particular event that sticks out in your mind that, you know what, I'm going to make sure the grandkids hear that story, and that's one I'm going to take to the grave with me? Is there something that sticks out more so than any other?
I think the one that sticks out realistically was the Hub City. I think that was back in 90 some. I don't even remember year, but that's the one that sticks out in my mind. At that time, that was a 150 lap race. And that's the one that, as far as a race, that's the one that sticks out in my mind.
Lynn, you're still locked in to the local. I know you're doing your hot rodding and classic car thing, but I know you're still locked in with some of the local racing, whether it be at the super late model ranks or below. But let me ask you a question. And the world has changed a lot in these last 30 years, probably more so than any previous 30 years ever in history. And that certainly stands true for dirt racing, dirt late model racing. One of the first times I would go cheer you on, there would be a gang of us from here in the Johnstown, Pennsylvania area that would make the yearly October trek down to Pennsboro for the Dirt Track World Championships. And I remember 240, 250 cars there. 240,
well, that's
250
for sure.
cars. I don't know if that. And I guess what I was getting to is I'm not quite sure we're ever going to see that again. What has transpired in these 30 years? Is it all economy related? Is it social related? The kids and the machines? What do you attribute this to? Because, man, I would love to go to Pennsboro Outdoor and see over 200 super late models again one day.
Well, I think everyone would, but I don't think that's the reality of it. And it's a combination. It's no one thing. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, we have trouble attracting a fan base. It's mechanic oriented. It's too many other activities that people can spend their discretionary entertainment dollar on. That's why I think we can't fix it. It's going to run its course, and we'll be a part of it. I don't think racing is unique to these struggles. I think it's a struggle for everyone that's in the entertainment business today, because we just have too much exposure.
You know what? I don't know if I could have said it any better. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's a combination of factors, Lynn, and certainly, we're always taught not to live in the past. We got to move forward, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what Speedway promoters are going to do. That's what fans like I'm going to do. That is what legendary greats like yourself is going to do. We're going to move on, and we're going to make the very best of it. But where do you see yourself here in the next couple of years, Lynn? Following racing, doing hot rod cruise-ins, whether it's in Irwin or Latrobe or Cranberry, Pittsburgh, wherever. What's gonna entertain Lynn Geisler in these next couple of years?
Pretty much what he's been doing. I'm going to continue going with Alex to the local dirt races and stuff. I enjoy that. A lot of my friends are there. We've done a little more traveling. Some of the bigger races have been to Fairbury, Wheatland, do Eldora. Those are good events that I never went to before. I enjoy that. I do a little bit of NASCAR stuff, Daytona and Bristol. I get a chance to see my son's activities with Penske. It's a hodgepodge of things, and I'm not going to stop doing any one of them as long as I'm still healthy.
And Lynn, good for you, because it sounds to me like come every Friday evening for the whole weekend, you have a whole plethora of things you can choose from of fun gearhead stuff that you're going to enjoy. And God bless you for being able to do it. You sound in good spirits. You're in good health. You had a fantastic career of legendary proportions, and the opportunity to talk to you here on the Joe's Body Shop in Latrobe, Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway Speed Shop has truly been an honor for me. Listen, is there any shout out or anything you want to send out to anybody who, being that we're going to be sending this out via the World Wide Web? My goodness, Mike Satoski has Lynn Geisler here at the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway Speed Shop. This is one I'm going to remember a long time, but I'll let you take it from there as far as anyone you want to give it out to.
Well, I certainly want to give a shout out to my good friend Jack Corral, who's struggling with his health, but I also want to extend some good fortune to Latrobe Speedway. I hope they get a good weather program for their weekend, particularly with Honor and Dave Kittey. It'd certainly be nice if the weather cooperates and that event's a success.
Very, very well said. And I'm going to ask a very gracious favor of you, if you wouldn't mind, because being able to be on location here at the Skip doesn't let a whole lot of people into his speed shop. I am into the netherworld here of where all the hot rodding and Indian motorcycle and Harley Davidson activity goes on. But would you kindly do me a favor and say thank you to Skip, Nan, and Luke for allowing us to enjoy their pleasantries and their hospitality this evening. Skip, Nan, and Luke.
Well, we certainly do. I know anybody that opens their shop up, it's not an easy thing to do. And I'm sure Skip, Nan, and Luke have been a gracious host for this show. And myself and you would like to extend our sincere thanks.
Very well said. And they even gave me free beer. So that's a good thing. How about it?
Sounds good to me.
Lynn Geisler, what an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to have you on the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Speed Shop tonight. I cannot wish you nothing but the very best in all of your hot rodding years yet to come and your racing years yet to come with Alex Ferree. God love you. God's blessings to you and your family. And I certainly hope to see you out and about here during the off season. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you at some banquets or something.
There you go. Well, thanks for having me.
God bless you, buddy. Thank you. Everyone, Lynn Geisler. Hey, we're back at the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway Speed Shop tonight. Are you kidding me? We just had Lynn Geisler on the show. How about that? Thank you to Lynn Geisler for taking the time to talk to us this evening. I'm a little discombobulated, to be honest with you. That's why I'm drinking a beer to calm my nerves. I just can't believe we had Lynn Geisler on the show. What a great interview. What a great cat he is. Someone of his legendary status joining us is a real honor for us here at Latrobe Speedway. And I'm sure when Dennis and Kathy watch this, they're going to think, holy heck, Lynn Geisler. But again, here's to you, Lynn Geisler. Thank you for joining us. Listen, folks, you get the weekend off. Looks like Mother Nature is going to give us a nice weekend here. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to get into the weekend, get out and enjoy some hot rod shows, some races. It's the National Open weekend at Williams Grove Speedway. If you have nothing going on while you're down that way, if you do head on to Central Pennsylvania, make sure you stop in York Springs and pay a visit to the Eastern Museum of Motor Racing. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. That is probably one of the finest racing museums in the entire country. I would stack it up right up against Knoxville, and I truly mean that. But you're going to see some of the finest sprint car drivers in the country all converge at the National Open at Williams Grove. Take some time to go down to York Springs, Pennsylvania, just off Route 15, and stop into the Eastern Museum of Motor Racing. Tell them Mike Satoski sent you. You'll be happy you did. Listen, we are getting ready for October 6th and 7th. You heard Lynn Geisler talk about it. I'm going to tell you about it. It's going to be all over social media here in the next week and a half, thanks to people like DJ Johnson and all of the social media stuff that we do online at www.latrobemotorsports.com, and also our Facebook page, Latrobe Speedway Motorsports. But we are getting ready to honor and celebrate Dave Kittey on Friday night with the ULMS late models, the Jay's Automotive ULMS late models, and then the Crate late models are going to duke it out on Saturday. They're going to be the highlighted division in the Rick Frazee Memorial for the K2 Engineering Crate late models. And speaking of K2 Engineering, let's talk about and let's give a shout out to all of our divisional sponsors here at Latrobe Speedway. And as I always say, without them, there is no us. And anytime you're in need of any of the products or services offered by any of these fine businesses, support them. Support them because they love what we love. They love what you love. And that is racing at Latrobe Speedway. I just mentioned the K2 Engineering Crate late models, Specialty Metals, modified 4 cylinders. Dean Pollock, thank you for coming aboard and sponsoring our hobby stocks here in 2023. Excuse me. Wisneski Waste Removal Pro Stocks. We want to thank Joe's Body Shop and Towing for sponsoring our Pure Stock division, as well as our podcast here, where we are coming from a location unknown here in Somerset County. And of course, our friends at Bowers Farms, who proudly sponsor our Race Saver Sprint Cars. Our track sponsors throughout 2023 as we approach our final race of the year. Could not do it without you. Thank you so very much from all of our hearts. Dennis and Kathy appreciate you. We appreciate you. Our friends at RPM Racing Parts and Sales, that's Rick Potter, who's there at the Speedway every Saturday night. A1 Machine and Performance. We want to thank Tite Paving, Latrobe Billiards for supporting us, DJS Swag, GVD Powder Coating, Ament Landscaping Supply here in Latrobe. We want to give a shout out to our friends at Tidal Wave Car Wash, the Auto Tag Store, Portage On, as my friends are laughing at me as I say Portage On, but we thank them for their support. We want to thank Garry's Auto Sales, Bowman's Plumbing, General Carbide, and Latrobe Glass and Mirror. Wow. Okay, that is going to do it for a whale of a show tonight. I'm not even quite sure what to say. I'm still a little speechless, but you know what? I want to thank all of you for joining us on this Thursday night. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you here on Friday, October 6th, Saturday, October 7th for Fall Fest 2023. So on behalf of myself, Mike Satoski, and Dennis and Kathy and the entire Latrobe Speedway team, thank you very much. Again, thank you to the hospitality, to Skip, Nan, Luke, and Gail here at the Skip's Hot Rod Indian Harley Davidson shop here in Somerset County. Thanks for your hospitality, and thank you for the cold beer. And thank you to Lynn Geisler for joining us. Love you, everybody. God bless. See you soon.